Welcome to Conversations. My name is Suresh Kochattil. Management, as they say, is to make things happen. And how do things happen? They happen because people are around to make it happen. Ever since the start of the Industrial Revolution, we have seen hordes and hordes of employers and employees come together to create a structure that drives our economies. That has now been converted into business schools. Running a business school is not an easy task because one, you need to build up a reputation, you need to build up great faculty, you need to have wonderful infrastructure, and of course, you need to attract the best of talents and the best of companies to come in to recruit your students. Making all that possible over the last 26 years is Dr. Pratap Reddy, Chairman, Dhruva College of Management. When he left the Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, where he was handling the management studies, he decided to start a college, a management college at that. Why? Well, we'll come to know in this interview that follows from now on. Welcome to the show, Dr. Reddy.
Started my teaching career just after first Telangana agitation of 1969 in Nagarjuna Sagar Engineering College in 1970, which later got merged into what is known as Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, where I served for 30 long years. And from mechanical engineering.
So the first question that is coming your way is, why did you decide to start a management college and not anything else? Is there any specific reason or reasons why you decided to start the Dhruva College of Management?
I drifted to management because management is my passion. Because after engineering, I did my MBA and PhD in management. And fortunately for me, JNTU started School of Management Studies, and I was chosen to head the B School, and I was also Chairman Board of Management Studies JNTU. After running the School of Management Studies JNTU, I found that the curriculum there, or the subject being taught there, or the innovativeness that I wanted to bring into the curriculum, whatever that I wanted to make it on par with what industry needs, I could not get things done. As you know, a university is a big machine where I as an individual is a small cog. So I thought, why should I not start a B school of my own? And when it dawned on me, 8 years before superannuation, I resigned and I took the gauntlet of entrepreneurial venture called Dhruva College of Management in 1995.
That's an interesting observation and a journey, Dr. Reddy. So the next question that would come your way is, quite often, I've been also part of the recruitment teams from the organization where I worked. And when we step into a college, a management college for that, out of the 100 students, we often get just about 2 or 3 of them who are really good. And those 2 or 3 feature in all the other companies that turn up at the college. They get selected everywhere. Now, the obvious question, the obvious complaint from the industry is that students whom even they recruited, they take some time to become productive on the job. Just like the IT companies often complain that they are on the bench, they are being trained, and after 6 months, they are billable. Now, that's an issue with the management colleges also, where the organizations have to spend time to retrain the students from what they have been taught in college. Do you think the reason is due to the fact that students in many management colleges, even though some of them today insist on work experience, but many of them in the other management colleges walk in fresh out of their academics and join an MBA course or a PGDM course? What's your take on this?
It is a wonderful question. When the first business school was started in Calcutta, that is IIM Calcutta, the forefathers thought that MBA should be offered only to those having experience in the industry or business before. But that was not implemented for various reasons. So even IIMs have started MBA programs for fresh graduates. With that, what happened was that the MBAs that are coming out of these business schools, including IIMs, were devoid of the real-time experience. They were only theories. And naturally, when an employer employs these graduates, they are at crossroads and they had to take an year or two to induct them and train them and bring them into the working of the organization culture, organization philosophy, organization methodology. So they are forced to waste 1 or 2 years to groom the fresh graduates coming from the B schools, and that is a big loss to the employer. But as time passed by, there are so many business schools realized the requirement of the industry and the products they are going out of the institutions. There is a gap, and there are many stalwarts in the academia and industry have advocated that industry institution interaction is required and is a must, but unfortunately it is not taken care of either by industry or by the institution. Even today, though I have been advocating for the last 52 years that this industry institution interface is paramount for making the management education real time, it is not taking off. So that is, there is a gap of what industry requires and what is produced by business school. Even today it is felt, and as far as Dhruva College of Management is concerned, we are doing a bit in that direction, in the sense that we try to bring in experts of academia and industry across the globe. As many as about 100 experts address my students. Of course, many online, many in person, and I go with a lot of kind of feeling, respect, esteem for the visiting professors, experts across the globe, and I am lucky to have them agreed to address my students gratis. And this particular year, about 35 professors, industrialists across the globe have addressed the present batch of students. It is 27th batch of PGDM, and in a way these experts bring in a lot of practical insights, but at the same time it is not as much as practicals or industry experience given to them. Again, it is theoretical inputs, but given by the experts from industry. But in addition to that, what we are now trying to do is that the summer internship programs, what we organize as a precondition to the management education or PGDM we are offering, the students are sent to industries and they will work for 3 to 4 months. They get to solve a problem, however minuscule it is, with the help of the industry managers, industry CEOs, and this time we could successfully complete our 100 students working on different industries and doing their projects, whereby they are getting a glimpse of what real industry experience is. I don't claim that we are doing the best, but at the same time we are making a dent to bridge the gap between theory and practice.
Dr. Reddy, while that remains the fact about students and they not having the work experience before they join the college, the same applies on the other side, the faculty. The most common complaint that we hear from students and also from parents is the fact that faculty members quite often are right out of the academia. They come after doing their masters and PhDs and then they join the colleges. They don't bring in the industry experience. They haven't worked in an industry, even though there are exceptions to this in many colleges. Today you have a lot of professionals joining in as teachers, as professors. But by and large, and this is not just related to the management issue, it's also to do with other factors like engineering colleges where we have the same issue. How is it? What's your look? What's your kind of take on the entire thing about having faculty coming with an industry experience, being placed laterally? Even today, AICT now allows that to happen. Certain universities are allowing that to happen. So how is it that we should get faculty who have industry experience? And do you think that really makes a difference to the final output that comes out of each college?
Mr. Suresh, you have hit the nail on the head of the problem that is causing a lot of strain either in the management schools as well as industry. That is a wonderful question. Majority of the professors, including Ivy Leagues, as you rightly said, they are from academia only. They are not from industry. Even if there is a hybrid kind of industry academia PhDs, unfortunately, including A-list journals, these professors are bent on scientific research methods, scientific research journals, and Unfortunately, as Sumantra Ghoshal, one of the iconic management professors, said, and I quote, that this research is all ridden with data and statistical rigor, and I'm sorry to say that the articles published in this AI kind of class journals are not relevant to the realities of the industry, and a majority of the articles are published only for publication's sake. They have no relevance to the practitioners in the industry. So, this kind of bias, only those publishing following the scientific research are given tenure positions of professorships in Ivy Leagues, is lopsided. And as you rightly pointed out, these professors should have experience in industry and have kind of inclination to teach and felicity to present, and not much relying upon the scientific research, so-called scientific research. For example, I am an avid reader of Harvard Business Review. I see articles, and they are not kind of bent on the scientific research, so-called scientific research. They are all thought papers. Thought leaders contribute articles, and in a way, my own minuscule way, we have our own journal by name Vidvat. We are publishing articles which are relevant to industry practitioners. They are not ridden with voluminous data, intricate, fuzzy statistical tools, and they are relevant to the greater extent that they are useful to the industry, useful to the practitioners. So, better even the Ivy League business schools should understand that the scientific research rigor is not as important as the research relevant to the industry practitioners. Once that is done, probably it will be better change in the direction. I hope I have answered your question.
Well, Dr. Reddy, that we have dealt with the students, now we dealt with the faculty. Now comes the most crucial part, the syllabus, the content that is being taught in colleges. Now you have certain MBA colleges which are kind of affiliated to universities, the PGDMs affiliated to AICT, certain private universities which are universities of their own. But the problem is to do mainly with institutions like AICT and even some universities. Is the fact that they are not updated the syllabus. We are still stuck in an era where Eastman Kodak is supposed to be the world's best film producing company, in a sense, the raw material I'm talking of, or IBM is claimed to be the world's most innovative company. No longer, those era has gone, that era has disappeared. Today we are talking of an era of unicorns. But our syllabus has not kept pace with the changing circumstances. The world changes every day, the world of business changes every day. But we are still stuck, there is no real-time updation of the syllabus that is happening. Why do you think this kind of lacuna is prevailing in the management education system in our country?
Again, is an excellent question, very topical, contextual question, in the sense that curriculum revision is a continuing process. So that is the very reason probably I left JNTU and started this college, wherein if I want to bring in certain subjects, certain course into the curriculum, I can do it in a jiffy. In JNTU or in university system, if I wanted to introduce a subject, however relevant it is to the industry, it normally takes about 1 or 2 years. By the time it was brought into the curriculum, the subject loses its relevance. But here in Dhruva College of Management, we introduce subjects which are relevant, which are topical, which are useful, which are in demand by the industry overnight. For example, we have introduced event management, we have introduced business analytics, we have recently introduced what is known as incubator and entrepreneurship cell with a regular professor, regular director who is experienced in the industry. As we see that the culture in India, thanks to Narendra Modi, he is giving a lot of preference to startups. And somebody beautifully said, our Prime Minister is a startup Prime Minister, which is quite apt for an emerging economy like ours. And there are so many people are tempted or what do you call motivated to go into industry rather than seeking job. The business schools are preferring to manufacture job givers. So we are trying to encourage entrepreneurs, and we have made a humble beginning by establishing e-cell and incubator in our college. And curriculum revision is very, very important. Not only that, I should tell you that continuing medical education, there should be continuing management education also, wherein the professors must be asked to undergo refreshing their knowledge of the subject they have chosen every 5 years or every 3 years. Otherwise, whatever the knowledge they gained 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago has become obsolete, has become redundant, unless they refresh their knowledge and they keep abreast with what is happening in the present day world. Whatever they are teaching becomes irrelevant. So that is the reason, like it happens in USA and other Western societies, even a medical doctor has to undergo these kind of board exams every now and then. But here it is not happening. I don't know why AICTE is not considering that. Once appointed, you are there for life. There is no Damocles hanging on you. There is no urge to kind of replenish your knowledge or enrich your kind of academic rigor, academic expansiveness. That must be introduced by the AICTE or whosoever is at the helm of the affairs.
Students, faculty, content, everything is happening. Now the question that obviously arises is internship, which is a part and parcel of every student, even in management colleges or even in engineering colleges. The 6 months which they spend in a practical environment, in a company, in an organization to learn the intricacies of how to run a business is quite often relegated to just doing market surveys or some small time jobs, which actually add zero value to the students. This is far more important because quite often these internships serve as a value addition because the companies identify certain bright sparks to the interns that come into their organization to get trained and actually make them offers on the spot so that when they pass out, they have a job in their hands. But as we have seen quite often, these internships that are offered are on a non-serious basis. Companies take them because of some obligation. Students go them because they have to do some internship. But at the end of the day, the learning is zero. Do you think a time has come now to have a relook at the entire internship system itself and to see how students can actually add value to that 6-month period that they spend as an intern in different organizations?
Mr. Suresh, again, this is a wonderful question. It is a practical dilemma I am facing. It is an enigmatic question. For the last 50 odd years, I have been advocating this kind of bonhomie between the industry and institution. That is not happening. The reason is anybody's guess. Either industry is not forthcoming to help institutional students, or institution is not able to establish a primordial relationship with the industry so that industry can trust the institution and its students to offer them useful practical internships. And even the interns are not taking it seriously, especially in this COVID period. It has become online. As online education is no comparison to offline or in-campus studies, online internship, I don't know how it could be possible, because after all, the experience should be physical and one should go to the industry, one should work, one should in olden days, the best manager is supposed to be the dirtiest looking manager. When the Japanese manufacturing industry was ruling the roost in the world, it was a kind of maxim. The dirty looking manager is the best manager. Now today, in online thing, where is the question of dirtying? You are not having any scope for using your hands and legs, and you are not putting your foot in the industry. You are just doing it on online. What is the experience you are gaining? I really don't know. That is an added kind of adding insult to injury. And you are right. There must be kind of better understanding, congruence between industry and institution. It is happening in Western societies. I don't know why this is not happening in this country. Luckily for me, majority of my board of governors are industrialists, reputed industrialists, and I am fortunate enough that they are admitting our students for internship in their companies, and our students are also doing better than average.
Dr. Reddy, one of the common complaints that we hear from parents and also from the professors and the industry and everybody around is the inability of students, or rather prospective employees, to take stress. When they are put right into the hot spot, they tend to crack, they tend to crumble. And this doesn't just happen at the management student level, but it starts from as young as, say, for example, class 6 or 7. And we see numerous cases where students commit suicide just because they got bad marks, or their parents took away the mobile phone from them, or later on maybe a love affair when they have grown up, a failed love affair. How is it that a management institution, a business school like yours, teaches children, teaches the students how to handle stress in a world out there, because it's a dog eats dog world out there. And definitely what we're going to see is a lot of competition, a lot of pressure and a burnout. How do you and your professors in your college teach students to handle stress in their day-to-day work?
Suresh, again, that is kind of Dil ki baat chin liya aap. I should say that this is the college where credence is given to what you call ethics and morals. And our philosophy, our cardinal principles of diligence, dignity, dhyana and dharma are basically into our Sanatana philosophy. And I always make it a point, our Dhruva Tehzeeb is really ridden with these kind of ethos. And apart from IQ, EQ, emotional quotient, we bring in spiritual quotient also. And you will wonder to know that almost every day there is a session on life skills, and we are trying our best to mold. Our own mission statement is to produce or co-produce leader managers grounded in ethical profundity and intellectual humility. As Vivekananda said beautifully, an educated derelict is like an eagle flying high in the sky but having eyes on the prey on the ground. Vinayam vihina vidyanashaya. Vinayam, the humility is most important. Ethics are more important. These are really ingrained in our approach to teaching, learning process in this college. We are doing our best, and people always feel jittery to start with when they join this college, because it is definitely different, altogether different, because it is like an island of excellence nestled amongst a chaotic world. It is altogether different. There is discipline, there is decorum, there is ethics, there is respect. Dhruva College is nothing but a Gurukul, and we are doing our best to the extent possible. We have been doing for the last 26 years. I have been, many a time people accuse me that you are a bit tough. Yes, I am cruel to be kind. After all, my students are like my children, and I go to any length. I am a 24/7 into 365 teacher. I am available, and I consider them as my own children, and I see that they become good human beings more than good managers, and definitely they will contribute to the holistic development of the nation called Bharat or India.
From stress to campus placements, which is a big thing. It's like an occasion that is arrived, day 0 and day 1, and you have all the companies landing up, the students dressed in their best, polishing up their skills, trying to attract the attention of the interviewers so that they could land up in a job. Campus placements are a big draw. But in India, we are still stuck at an age where we look for jobs. We are not into providing jobs. Many of today's unicorns or technology companies, you can call it, both in India and abroad, have been born in campuses. But in our culture, in our country, being a job seeker is what it is all about. Being a job provider is something that is looked down upon as outrightly risky, or you need to have deep pockets or a rich grandfather. That is a problem in today's India. And Prime Minister Modi has rightly said that we need to provide jobs, we need to be entrepreneurs, we need to be a nation that provides jobs to people. That is not happening. People still want jobs. When will we see that culture of entrepreneurship coming in, and specifically with regard to your institution, how are you enabling that process to happen?
As I told you just a while ago, we have established an entrepreneurship cell and incubator, but it is a fair cry. Let me be brutally frank with you. And people join PGDM or MBA to grab a well-paying job. With all said and done, 95% of the students seeking admission, they try to get a good job in a good company with a kind of good package. Let us face the reality. But we have made a beginning, humble beginning, and hopefully we will try to kind of motivate our students to become job givers instead of job seekers. And as a matter of fact, as you know, we don't believe in kind of advertising. Our advertising expenditure is zero if you really put it that way. We really depend upon word of mouth by alumni, by our recruiters. Our recruitment team could invite more than 200 companies, and 90% of the graduates are already placed. And as far as job givers is concerned, only the time is going to tell me or tell the institution how far we will succeed. But as of now, I should admit the fact that we are producing only job seekers. And of course, as you put it, it is a laudable objective. We will definitely try our best, our bit in inculcating the entrepreneurial spirit in our graduates in the coming years.
Dr. Reddy, while we're done with the campus placements for part of it, and one thing that always rankles my mind is, and I'm sure it happens with many others, is the fact that we have not created world-class institutions. We do have the IITs, we do have the IIMs, the ISBs, and a few other institutions like that. But when you look at the institutions abroad, which attract a lot of Indian students, by the way, who go for their masters after finishing their graduation in India, quite often we see those colleges, those institutions are funded by either the alumni or by rich donors. But that culture doesn't seem to be prevailing in India. It happens in a few institutions again. Some people in IIT for the alumni have gone back and kind of pumped money back to better the courses, create chairs for various endowment trusts and all that. But in your opinion, why do you think that we are not even able to create a Harvard or a Cambridge or anything for that matter, any of the big business management colleges around the world, the Cornells, for example? How do you create, or how do you think such institutions will get created in the future in India?
Again, it is another excellent question. If you go to verify the corpus available for Harvard Business School, almost 90% of the corpus and 90% of the funds are coming from the alumni. That is the beauty of that kind of business school. And it is really a tragedy in this country. The alumni, including the IMs, never bothered to contribute, however little there might be, to the betterment of the institution. They just forget about the institution. Of course, they may be loyal to the institution, but take the Harvard, I say, 90% of their corpus is donated by the alumni. And alumni is so kind of connected, it is like a large family, and they are scattered all across the globe, and the alumni bring in that warmth between each other, and they help each other, they promote in the process their alma mater. That is not happening in this country, I don't know, including Dhruva. Let me lament that the millennials who pass out of the institution, whether it be Dhruva or any other school of management, the alumni are not interested. I don't know. After all, it is their mother institution, and they never bother. They never bother to help the institution in ways like monetary or otherwise.
Dr. Reddy, you spent almost all your life teaching in the academia, at JNTU, then with Dhruva. As you look back at your life, and sometimes if given a chance, would you change something? Were there any regrets that you had which you could correct right now? Is there anything like that?
That is a philosophical question. I have no regrets in my life, and on the contrary, I would ask God Almighty if He is there or if she is there, why He or she has given me more than what I deserve. I got everything: a good family, a good institution, good friends, and more than any, good country like India. What more do I want? I have no regrets. I am quite fortunate to be what I am, and in my little minuscule way, inimitable way, I am serving student community year after year after year, and my kind of ambition is to serve the student community, considering them as my biological children. More they grow, more they spread kind of ethos enshrined in our ancient Indian culture, there will be everything good. Like what is said is in our what do you call idiom, that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and I believe in that, and our students are encouraged to believe in that. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Thank you.
Dr. Pratap Reddy, that was wonderful interacting with you, sir. And it was like a masterclass for me also in terms of learning from you about how you built up an institution like the Dhruva College of Management. Over the last 26 years, you have created a brand that admirably stands for the best in management education. But more than that, Dr. Reddy has created a philosophy around education itself, that it's not about making money, but it's providing quality education, up-to-date syllabus, and of course, creating a world that excels. And as we walk out of this college today after this interview, the beautiful verdant campus of Dhruva College of Management beckons us for more. And I'm sure we'll come back another day here to talk about something more. Thank you for watching.